Hey fight fans, it's Kimber Schaefer here with Rage in the Cage OKC News. And hey, Rage in the Cage 81 is coming up Saturday, June 19th at the Oklahoma City Farmers Public Market. And right now, I'm talking there's going to be fireworks. Fireworks for this fight, fireworks for the whole night. I've got Austin McCourtie with me here, and I mean, dude, you are just not a popular person right now in the MMA world. I don't know how to say that any nicer, but you've got some people gunning for you. And yeah. I mean, there's, people that really don't like you in this industry that don't want to see you fight again. And so, and then there's fighters that they want to see you fight again because they want to smash your face. So tell me about how this all transpired.
To be honest, I really don't know. It's kind of one of my favorite stories in the Bible is, of course, Christ, Hosanna on Wednesday, crucify him on Friday type thing. Like before, when I was undefeated, it's kind of like you can do no wrong, and then I finally lose one fight, not at my natural weight, not even up one weight class where I became champion, but fighting the #1 205 pounder in the state when I'm a natural welterweight. So I'm doing things that nobody else in the league is doing. I'm getting attention earlier than anybody else in the league is doing. I mean, it's very similar to LeBron James, you know what I mean? Like LeBron came in by the time LeBron was 17, they were calling him the chosen one. I'm older age-wise, but by the time I had my third fight, I'm 3-0 as an amateur. I got Hoist Gracie, I got, legends looking at me, giving me attention. Of course, other fighters that are farther along might not like this. I'm headlining shows as an amateur. A lot of older fighters don't like this. And so, I mean, heavy lies the crown,
Yeah. So your career for Rage in the Cage anyways has actually spanned over quite a few years because your debut from Rage in the Cage was maybe, 5 years ago?
Yes, ma'am.
So I met you back then, got to see you get your first win. Well, I've seen you in all of your fights, obviously. So you've come back after a few years doing well, but you got your loss. Montaigne McFarland, we'll say the name, you and he, and that whole fight kind of really sparked, well, I think some of it was before that. This, I think it's Austin McCourtie versus the fight world in some aspects. And you've got some on your side, but I'm saying sometimes it gets ugly out there.
Yeah,
so
it's a cruel game, but like I said,
but you don't mind this. You actually kind of encourage this.
If you look at like all the biggest stars in the game, Mayweather, hated, loved. It just depends on who you're talking to. You got Conor, hated, loved. Austin McCourtie, hated, loved. It's like I said, heavy lies the crown. I was built for this.
Okay, so we're going to move on now. So we've talked about that, and
And one thing I'd like to say, Montaigne got lucky. If anybody's seen Rocky 3, that's what happened in the last fight. I'd like to apologize to all my fans. I've had such success in martial arts, not just in mixed martial arts, but spanning back to since I was a little kid. And I did the game a disservice. I started treating championship fights like it was sparring at the end of karate class, where I'm going out there and I'm trying to fight like my favorite fighters. You know what I mean? I'm out there learning jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu was so I got so obsessed with jiu-jitsu because growing up in a striking art, it was so cool to me that you could win a fight without having to punch or kick or hurt somebody at all. And so once I got into jiu-jitsu and then I learned about the Gracie family, obviously my family didn't take it as far as them yet, but I felt that strong connection, so I was driven to jiu-jitsu more. But you should never treat a championship, like if you look at any of the other champions at any level, you don't see any guys going out there just trying new moves to win fights. You know what I mean? Normally, you'll see a champion, they go out, they have their style that they always implement. They might try a new move here or there, but you haven't seen anybody do what I was doing, And so, like, people, like, one mistake, it's cool. This fight, we'll be back to the original Austin McCourtie. I mean, not even the original, way better. I've literally since the last fight, which was February 29th, 2020, all I've been doing is living in the gym. My dad now lives with me. Everybody knows my dad is my first instructor. All I've been doing is hearing all the chatter. I haven't said a lot to everybody, but I've been keeping an eye, and one by one, they'll all get it.
So there's people out there that think that, your record, you're 3-1, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
3-1. Zevin's got a little bit more fights than you.
I thought that was funny also that
you don't deserve this.
Yeah, I thought that was funny also. They had me as the headliner this one, even though he's 9-1, I believe. I'm 3-1. This fight should have happened years ago, but it's finally happening. I'm grateful it's happening. I think Zevin is a great fighter. Aside of all the animosity, he's somebody that I've always had respect for in the game. And yeah, it's gonna be a great fight. He comes from a similar background to me, so I think it'll be an exciting one for the fans.
So this is one that you said you've been hoping for a while.
Yeah. So if you remember, my debut fight was at 170. It was right off of getting my black belt and becoming a champion, my first championship as an adult in karate. And so there was a lot of hype coming in that first fight. I delivered first round TKO. My very next fight, they were offering me title shots at 155, 185. For some reason, the one at 170 never came, and that's where I fought at, And because I couldn't get the fight at 170 is why I had eventually gone up to 185 and then eventually 205 in the first place. But
now, I think one of the things that people have said, and I don't remember what weight class you were trying to drop to, the biggest thing is you were trying to drop weight and you weren't able to make your weight cut, and so that's a big thing out there. So
yeah.
What happened in that aspect?
So like I said, I'm 3-1. I'm treating the game like I'm a pro. I got kind of the eyeballs and pressure as a pro, but I still get paid as an amateur. So like you see guys like Connor, Israel trying to do things that I'm trying to do. This is with millions of dollars and an entire team backing them, and they're still unsuccessful. So yeah. I've been able to do these things with no money, no team backing me, just hard work, dedication, and belief, I had my first cut when I was trying to get to 155, coming from 185, I was unsuccessful. I got down to 158. The fight could have still happened, but the opponent at the time didn't want to take that fight because it was a guaranteed L for him. You know what I mean? So any little mistake I make, it's just like I was saying, like LeBron. When you have that pressure, like you kind of have the crown before you have the crown. You know what I mean? It makes it worse. It makes it harder that way. Like, the reason I respect LeBron more than Michael Jordan is because Michael Jordan was a sleeper. Like, he kind of sucked, he became great, LeBron James, like, he had the pressure. Everybody's calling him the Michael Jordan once he's a little kid, and he's gotta live up to this with the eyeballs on him the whole time. You can't make any mistakes. And if you make even one little mistake, they're gonna try to use that against you for forever. So, have I been late to a weigh-in once? Yeah, that's because everything you guys have seen me done up until this point, I didn't even have a car. So yes, I was late to a weigh-in before. Have you seen me miss weight before? Yes, you've seen me miss my first weight cut to 155 from 185. Once again, this was my second fight, and this is attempting to do things that nobody else in the game is doing, at amateur or pro. So.
Okay, and any last words, anything that I didn't ask you that you want fight fans out there to know, and any shout outs?
I would just like to give a shout out to everybody that's been rocking with me through all the drama. Like I said, I apologize for each fight, I think it's kind of important for fighters to kind of take a step back, because like I said, I've been in the martial arts so long just as a normal person. So like I didn't realize that so many people were gunning for me, you know what I mean? I'm going to new gyms trying to learn techniques just like anybody else would, not knowing that there's people that I think that are on my side that are really working with my opponents because they think I'm getting too much shine or too much spotlight too early on, And so I would just like to apologize for the people that have been rocking with me. I wasn't treating it as warlike as I should have, but now I am. June 19th, you're gonna see a first round knockout.
All right, that's big words right there. So you guys heard it here, Austin McCourtie versus Zevin Hunt. It's going down Saturday, June 19th at the Oklahoma City Farmers Public Market. You can get tickets from Austin here, Zevin, any other fighter on the card from stubware.com. If you don't get your hands on a ticket, because I'm pretty sure this one's gonna sell out, of course you can always catch us on Fight TV. We'll see you then.